Um, uh, so I'm sure we all have a lot of assets like websites, networks, servers, IT infrastructures, and no, these assets are being attacked on a daily basis or on a monthly basis. We have a lot of threats like DDoS attack or the hackers trying to attack these assets to ensure that the proper functioning of these assets are not working in. Okay. So we have experts in this domain who will help us understand more about DDoS and various type of attacks and how we can actually help resolving some of the issues. We are happy to welcome over here Anton, and we are happy to welcome Kirill, who is the senior sales manager at StormWall, and he has an extensive experience supporting companies with advanced DDoS protection, and he will be presenting the latest trends, which is shaping the region and also saving how to save from hackers attacks and everything. Let us all get some insights on this topic. And just a reminder, if you have any Q&A, you can put it in the chat. We have Anton and other team members who can answer during the chat, during the presentation itself, or else in the end, we have a Q&A session and we will take each and every question. If there are any unanswered question, we will surely email it back to you with the right answers. So as of now, without much ado, I'll hand over it to Kirill. Kirill, the platform is all to you. Thank you once again, participants from BD Software. I'm Rajiv Warrior over here, VP Sales. Thank you each and everyone for joining in time. And I hand over to Kirill to take this section ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajiv, for that lovely introduction. Hi, everybody. Yeah, as the platform, as you said, mine, let me then share the screen with you so you would have a bit more visual to what I'm about to say. I think that's going to be the best way to uh, remember or understand even all the things that I'm about to lay on you. So you're supposed to see my screen now. Please let me know
Yes.
if you do see the screen.
Yes, very
Okay.
much, very much clearly.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I would like to start again by saying thank you everyone for joining. It's great to have you with us today. And yeah, as you said, my name is Kirill Sorokin. I'm a senior sales manager at StormWall. And today we're going to talk about DDoS landscape in India, in particular, in APAC region in general, and why attacks are growing so fast. And most importantly, what can you do to stay one step ahead of all of that? And I'll try my best not to overwhelm you with the statistics, but no promises there. So let's start slowly but surely with the little terminology. So before we dive deeper, we need to get ahead on that first. And here's you can see on the right side of the slide is the OCI model. All the layers where DDoS attacks typically strike. So everything from the network layer, which is the L3, up to the application layer, which is the L7, can be targeted. And DDoS attack itself, pretty simple. It overwhelms the system with fake traffic, causing massive disruptions or complete shutdowns of online services. And DDoS protection is simple too in that way. What it does is detect, filter, and block all of that noise which is the DDoS attack itself. And yes, as you can see, the launching of an attack can cost up to $0. It's pretty cheap nowadays to do that, and a lot of people take advantage of that. But the downside for businesses is the damage, because this part is very expensive, unlike the part of the price of the attack itself. So let's look at the why DDoS attacks, especially one of the biggest threats today. It has multiple risks, especially combined and mixed often. First of all, of course, financial risks, which leads to revenue loss, SLA penalties, customers churn, reputation risks, where customers entirely lose trust for their provider so quickly after a downtime. SEO risks, of course, outages that leads to possible ranking drops of the websites, security risks, of course, because sometimes DDoS often hides a more serious attack behind it, which is also a big pain for a lot of vendors, a lot of providers, a lot of businesses overall. So even though DDoS is actually fair easy to launch, recovering from it is definitely is not that easy. And the impact it could have on basically DDoS can hit those organizations in two areas. And the first one is website. The second one would be network and servers. So when it comes to websites, which is where your L7 lives, L7 layer, the ones now we taking a step back to the OC model layer, websites, they become the slow or completely unreachable. They fail in transactions, especially the ones that have purchases built in inside those applications. That leads, of course, to lost revenue, damaged brand trust, and high risk of hacking attacks for those websites. And when we look at the network, it's pretty much the same, but on the L3 layer, which is overloaded routers, connectivity disruptions, and overall issues, voice and data outages, SLA violations, of course, and what's most important for all of us, I would say, massive customer impacting downtime. Because when a customer is not satisfied, that's a no-no for any business, I believe. So it doesn't matter. Is it a web or network? The damage is real and the damage is immediate. So you have to be prepared. So now let's take a look at the trends that we have. We kind of zoom out and see what's happening across the APAC itself. So we've seen over 116% growth in DDoS attacks overall. Bot attacks increased by 74%. This is the attack report, by the way, you can see at the bottom left from first half of 2025. And botnets themselves are 4 times bigger now. And of course, proven attacks, which some of us might have heard already of them, exploded and multiplied by 3,500 times, which is pretty impressive number. And API DDoS attacks grew 63% as well. And top target industries amongst APAC is government, finance, and telecom. And the main driver here, hacktivism. So attackers increasingly target political and social tensions, which is not as surprising because government networks in APAC are especially affected. Patterns, they show strong connections between cyber attacks and geopolitical hotspots. You can see here government related to China, Taiwan, India, Pakistan, Russia, Japan. So basically, the DDoS today is not just about ransom or anything else. It's about influence, and that's a whole other level of scary. So the proben attacks, the ones I've already mentioned before, they happen before the major attacks do. We see a rapid rise in probing activity itself. So the key point, as already mentioned, the huge growth of those attacks. Average duration of those attacks not big, around 3 minutes, I would say. Traffic is really low, around 1.2 kilobits, tiny but very powerful. And attackers with these attacks can scan a port for less than a second. And props, they're actually early warnings that someone is mapping your weaknesses. So if you see those kind of probing attacks on your system, you have to be careful about that. And let's talk about API attacks, which is the prime target, I believe, in the APAC, and they are extremely common already, because 80% of those, they're happening via botnets. 55% of those last under 50 minutes, which is not long, which is short, but really impactful. And L7 traffic volume itself down to 70%, but it's still really effective. And still, we see API growth by 63% year over year. So APIs are attractive targets because even a small load can break logic systems. Notifications, payments, account portals, which is really, those are the services that people, the users, actually do visit and use. And Let's compare the industries in the APAC. In the first, you can see here, government being hit the hardest. We can see growth of 7%. Finance, telecom, and retail are rising slowly but surely. And entertainment dropped, but still really, really significant. So those are, I believe, top five industries that are being attacked nowadays in the APAC especially. But even if your industry is not on the list, your turn, I believe, is only a matter of time, as once was one of those industries before that. So we have a spotlight here of three top verticals of the attacks. Of course, it's pretty obvious. Number one is a government attack linked to regional political groups. Pretty obvious. The peaks of the attacks up to almost 1 terabit, so 600, 900 of those. And targets are, I believe, when we talk about the government sector, usual suspects: national portals, ID systems, public APIs, and uh, all of that related things. The next one would be telecom, where the largest attack hit a provider with 2.3 terabits per second, which is pretty massive attack. And that was also the sector that sees the longest attacks. As you can see here, the Taiwanese provider, 11 days attack. So it's pretty long time to be attacked. And especially you can see that the amount of the attack, the traffic is not that low, also around 1 terabit per second. So it's pretty massive. And the common vectors are carpet bombing, amplification. So all that is really effective at L3, L4. And finance, of course, 72% hit of payment getaways, which is pretty obvious what the attacker does do. And peaks of those attacks on those sectors up to 1.2 terabits, especially in some cases we saw in Singapore. So attackers focus on services that impacts millions and millions of users instantly, which is really terrifying things, and businesses should be aware how to be prepared to that. And here, quickly looking at the countries under attack. So you can see here top targeted countries, which is, of course, China is 22% leading, followed by India with 19%, Singapore, Indonesia, a little lower, but still out there in the top list, and followed by Taiwan and Japan. And of course, a lot of other countries also there in the list. And but India, it continues to be a high priority target for botnets and activist groups. So especially the entities, the businesses in India should be aware of those trends and be prepared to save their businesses and basically be restful. So now let's see what actual DDoS attack look like. We're not gonna DDoS somebody or do a stress testing. Don't worry about that. We're just gonna, I would say, imagine that. So we're gonna do that hypothetically. So here you can see what an unmitigated L3, L7 DDoS attack look like. And I gave you, for better understanding, the 10 points, 10 points. So we got 15 minutes for all of that. So it starts with 2 minutes. So for 2 minutes, the probing is happening. Probing meaning scanning the ports to see where the exact, where we can hit the hardest. Then comes on the minute 4, massive flood. So it started at minute 2, ended by minute 4, massive L3, L4 flood, followed by API endpoints fell. And then we have DNS mail slow, followed by gateway overload, routers saturated, full blackout immediately, and basically it doesn't take hours, as you can see here, it takes minutes. And we had a lot of customers come to us actually after that situation happened. So basically, if you don't have the protection, that might happen to any business. So yeah, that's a pretty scary situation here. So and the storm itself, so these attacks are happening across India and APAC every day. So it's pretty common. This is nothing new. And the question, yeah, is pretty simple. As you can see here, it's already there. So are your defenses ready for the next attack? And in order for you to understand whether you are, let's take a look at this checklist. Pretty simple, but if you know how to take screenshots, take a screenshot for the future. So it's pretty, I would say basic, but yet really effective. So you have to, uh, if you want to have the good protection, you have to include the following things. The architecture planning. So you have to understand the traffic patterns. Uh, Redundancy is a must. Early attack detection is always good. Collaboration with experts in order to understand whether your system is solid. Regular stress testing to understand whether you're still up to date. And of course, comprehensive, if necessary, DDoS solution, which covers multi-layers. So L3 to L7. So because modern attacks are not just simple flooding anymore. Modern attacks require modern defenses. So those are the features that what a modern, basically, anti-DDoS service or protection must provide, and why. So of course, we're starting L3, L4 multi-vector protection, since the attack are pretty much multi-vectors anyway, everywhere. Bot mitigation, which is really crucial. Vendor managed configuration to save time and resources for the customers themselves. Real-time dashboard, pretty obvious, no-brainer. Scalable filtering, a local point of presence, fast 24/7 support, and of course, high accuracy and fast reaction. So without these, protection is incomplete. It might work, but still, it might have some leakage, because if you don't have either one of those things, either configuration or maybe bot mitigation, it's just a matter of time when the attackers are going to find that spot that they can hit. So now let's take a look at what modern DDoS protection provider must deliver. So the key capabilities here is, of course, geo-distributed filtering. Since the attack common all around the world, it has to be able to filter that closer to the origin of the attack. It has to have the behavioral detection, which is also helps a lot in that. Machine learning, you can run away from that. It's helped tremendously to work with to understand the patterns, to work with the attacks themselves. Anti-bot engines, of course, since the botnets are rising, and as you can see in the APEC region, it's just going and going and going. API and WAF integrations for L7 web applications, customizable protection by the industry, because every industry has different patterns, different types of infrastructure, so it has to be specifically customized for each individual company needs. And of course, layered defense. It's not just L3, L4, or L7. It has to be L3, L7. No other way around it. So the more complex attacks become, the more layered defense must be. And attacks right now are pretty complex already. So let me briefly introduce you what we do at StormWall. We are the company. It's just a quick look. So we are an international cybersecurity company with a straight focus on DDoS protection. So we strongly believe that if you want to be good at something, you have to focus on one thing only, and that's what we did. We focus on DDoS protection only, and we've been here I mean, on the market, DDoS market, for over 12 years now, and we have over 1,200 active customers and 2 offices in Bratislava and Dubai, and over 130 employees, which are dedicated DDoS professionals, since we have each team dedicated to a particular layer. So we're talking L3, we have a separate team who only does that. We're talking support, development, since we provide our own solution, so we do not copy or resell any other solution on the market. It's our own development. It helps us to be really customizable, to adjust and adapt to any needs that the potential customers might have. Depends on the industry, the logic of the business itself, or any other variables that might be in place. And here you can see, of course, a few of the customers that we are having the pleasure to work with, but mostly, roughly speaking, we work with any companies that seek for protection: ISPs, telecom, banks, cloud, hostings, and any other organization that requires that. Here is the global filtering network that we have. So the filtering capacity that we have is exceeding 5 terabits per second. And we, as you can see, we have multiple points of presence around the globe, strategically located. And each of those points of presence, they're really powerful, and they help us to, first of all, cope with the attacks closer to the origin. And as you can see, we heavily present in the APEC region. We have point of presence in Hong Kong, in Jakarta, and in Singapore. We are hoping to get there. As you can see, we have few POPs that are coming already in 2025. So by the end of this year, we're going to open 3 more in Miami, Los Angeles, and Sao Paulo. And we have huge plans for APEC, continuing growth of the APEC region, including India and other countries, to be present locally. But for now, those are the point of presence that we have. And we heavily present in the region that helps us to basically be a strong player and help all the businesses across the APEC region. And when we talk about those helping the businesses that we do, what exactly do we do? How do we help? So here's what the product suite that we have. So we provide basically 3 services, which is StormWall for Web, StormWall for Network, and StormWall for Servers, which covers all the layers that you need. So let's take a look at the StormWall for Web. This works for retail, media, banking. So that is basically L7 protection. So if you have website, web application that having issues with DDoS, that is the service for you to go with. It has anti-bot feature included, and additionally, there's an enterprise-grade web application firewall option. So if your web application is dealing with some sort of hacker attacks, such as password cracking, promo code abuse, if you need that sort of protection, we can additionally provide that as well. So that happens sometimes, so we got that covered. The next one is StormWall for Network. Of course, the infrastructure BGP-based protection for ISPs, telecom, data centers, basically any company that requires this protection. And StormWall for Servers is relatively similar to network. However, for the network, we are working with the AS numbers in particular. So we establish the BGP sessions with them directly. For the servers, that implements that the customer doesn't have one. So we do tunneling with each particular server in order for them to be protected. So it's basically like a full stack protection for any infrastructure. And a little bit details so you would understand how it works. So StormWall for Web, basically providing the proxy connection in order for the website to be protected. It's cloud filtering with caching, with anti-bot feature, with SSL decryption if necessary. So it's a multi-layer defense to stop any type of floods or attacks at L7 layer. So clean traffic reaches your site at all times, but attackers, they don't. And when we talk about the StormWall for Web, of course, any industry can benefit from that particular service. As you can see here, we listed the most common ones. So it's government, retail, commerce, finance, because they all face the typical challenges that sometimes individual for them, but most of the times they're common for anybody. It might happen to anyone. I'm talking peak loads, scrappers, payment portal attacks, bot train fraud, API overload. All of that need to be fixed, need to be troubleshooted. And we, as you can see, our solution do provide fixes and carefree to all of that typical risks and challenges that the customers might have. So we at StormWall ensure availability during all of these scenarios that the customers might have, because what you get with us is basically a working website despite what happenings outside the window, flood, anything else. Your website still loads quickly, maintains your metrics unaffected, phased operation. So the best part of it, that your customers won't even notice that you had some sort of attack. Only your engineers would know, And they will know that because they have notification that, hey, you just guys under attack, but don't worry, everything is okay. And that's a great thing to be notified that everything is okay, I believe. The next one would be StormWall for network. And as I mentioned before, it's a BGP based protection for any type of infrastructure. So it's a L3, L5 protection. Uh, Connection options are versatile. We can do IP jury tunneling. We can do local connections. I mean, depends on where the customer is present. We can connect physically in Singapore, Hong Kong, at any point of present, depends on the availability. And with us, we have three modes available on how to perform the protection. And modes, I mean, as you can see here, always on demand, and with a sensor. It depends on specific infrastructure that you have. We do not endorse any of those three specifically. You can choose whatever you feel like it, but it I think pretty much speaks for themselves. Always on. You constantly send us the traffic via this BGP session that we have on demand. You do that only during the attack, and with the sensor, you do that only during the attack, but not with your own hands, but with the help of the sensor. So it automatically does that for you. So, and the idea behind that service is pretty simple. This service stops the attacks before they even reach your routers. So your routers are completely safe. And here, typical risks and challenges. Again, of course, ISPs, telecom operators, data centers, they all face the same issues such as peak overloads, basically unavailability, SLA breaches, anything that might be relevant for those industries in particular. And we help to maintain those things for them, such as SLA. We help them to prevent outages. We basically protect the backbone of those industries so that they keep on providing great service for their customers. And StormWall for service, which is, as I mentioned before, relatively similar to the network. It's just the single service protection, which is great for gaming, service, VPN, emails, VoIP, IPTV, whatever it is. It's a great L3 for protection, unlimited number of ports, unlimited number of filtered traffic, and really great solution for the companies that don't have their own AS number. And of course, benefiting, as I mentioned, a lot of industries, smaller industries, type of services such as online gaming, VPN, and emailing, because they all face the issues such as lags, disconnection, packet losses. When it comes to telephony, of course, call quality issues, streaming interruptions, whatever it is. What we do in StormWall, we ensure stable and clean traffic for all of those type of services and much more. And here, the network and server protection combined, basically what you get with this protection. And of course, the great thing about that is the payment module. So the customers with us pay for the clean traffic only. So we do not charge for the amount of traffic that is the dirty one, because you never know how big the attack is going to be, how often the attacks are going to be, and you couldn't. So we take that ourselves. You pay only for the clean bandwidth, the commitment you want to have, 24/7 support, even within the premium chat with Telegram, flexible plans for each particular budget and industry, free DDoS sensor in order to be to announce those prefixes in the network protection seamlessly. Working with DNS, IP stays online under attack. We do all the assistance with the setup, including the initial setup and troubleshooting. We are fine with babysit the customer, no problem with that. And of course, you get a full attack report about each particular attack in order to just evaluate, analyze, or maybe share with the C-level management. And what I think the last point would be behind all of that protection mechanisms, DDoS, and the whole concept itself, it has to be the layered protection. Since as we saw before in the previous slide, or you might face that yourself already, attacks varies. It could be L3, L4, it could be L7. So depending on your setup, if, for example, if you own an AS number, you have to have L3 and 5 network filtering, you have to have L7 website protection, and web application firewall if necessary, in order to be restful and do not care about any type of attack. And if you do not have the AS, if, for example, if you use the rented infrastructure, it's a port-based protection for you, proxy filtering, and web application firewall. Again, because layered here means reliable. So if you have layered protection, you are you don't worry about yourself. You customers are not don't worry about you because they know that you are trustworthy and reliable. So everyone is happy, restful, and most importantly, business-wise happy. So and also I get you a little case study just for you to understand, see the real world example, just what is happening basically every day. Might just happen as we speak with you. So as you can see, in 2025 February 14, actually the day that meant to be for the flowers and for the beautiful love and stuff, not for the attackers apparently. So they did what they did is they target the major e-wallet platform, and it was a major L7 flood and the ransom demand of 15 bitcoins. And since it's not 2000 and what 7 or 6, it's a lot of money. So that's what the ransom is, and it was, as you can see, for the lasted over 6 hours. But the result is pretty simple. There was no downtime for this particular e-major e-platform, because it was fully mitigated by StormWall in real time. Attackers timed the assault specifically, as you can see, for the salary payout date, because that would give them the maximum leverage for the ransom. But it didn't happen since the platform was already protected, like an insurance, and everything was. The only people that were sad that day was the attackers, and that's great. That's just great in those cases. And what else do we have when you use the StormWall is, of course, the client portal. Because when you use some sort of service, and we do not provide you a set of tools, we provide you a full managed DDoS protection service. You have to see and understand what is happening. So you want to have the transparent service, and we provide that for you. We provide a best-in-class client portal with a feature-rich environment, real-time analytics, custom rules, attack history, anti-bot panel, response code analytics, PDF reports about each attack, multi-user access, multi-tenant model for each service. So everything you need is one place. Really easy to manage, easy to use. And the best thing about that, if you don't want to configure, set up everything else, we can do that for you, no problem. Since we do provide fully managed, we can manage that for you if you want us to. And the last word about the StormWall itself. So why would you go for protection with us? Is, of course, the expertise. As I mentioned before, we do not do anything but DDoS. I mean, protection of DDoS. So we are keen on that network, L7, whatever it is. We do provide multi-layered protection for those. Anti-DDoS, application firewall, anti-bot. We have whatever you need. So you can get everything in one place. It's really intuitive client portal with a feature-rich environment. You pay for the clean traffic only. You got a free setup, even under attack. We can do that. So you would evaluate, not only be protected during the attack, but also evaluate how fast we can do that, and just see how effective the service really is. And for what might be interesting for the finance institutions, that we also do provide website protection without SSL decryption. That is relevant for the companies that needs to be PCI DSS compliant. If there are some in the on the meeting today, because we do have a lot of customers that requires that, so just be aware. We can do that. We have that. Not a problem. So that would be it for my part, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for joining for today's session. As you can see here on the screen, you can try StormWall free for 30 days. That means you can get the free proof of concept to see how this everything is working, to see the protection live on your own infrastructure, on your website. If you are already using some of the vendors, that is a great chance for you to compare. If you don't use anything and you worry about that, or maybe you use some of your own solutions, internal ones, you're not really sure about them, you get a 30-day trial. So that's a great opportunity for you to see, to invest, to maybe just to see something new for your own infrastructure and understand how it works. And if you have any questions, guys, just drop them in the chat. I'm pretty sure some of the questions were already answered by my colleagues. If you have some others, we will, I believe, answer them right now or in the end of the session. However, that would be my time for the presentation. Again, feel free to scan the QR code. Feel free to join for that 30-day trial. We'd be happy to have you to provide that for you. So you would evaluate the service, the solution itself. And yeah, probably I love that solution so much. I can talk nonstop about that. So it's better for me to be here. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Kirill. Thank you for a great insight on DDoS and the related solutions. I think there were a lot of questions. Anton, would you like to just highlight some of the question and some of the things that you answered for the benefit of all the other participants if they have not gone through the chat? Or maybe Kirill can take up, and the answer is also already given, but if you can just highlight a few of the good questions and the answers to that, maybe it's a learning for all the others. And participants, if you have any question, you can also unmute and ask, or no, you can put it in chat, and we'll be happy to answer it.
Yes, hi everyone. There were some questions in the chat. I think the main things to highlight is that we can enable our protection at any stage of of attack. So you can enable a protection beforehand, so when there is no attack. So you can enable protection, and when attack comes, you are already protected, and your system, your network, or your website will remain accessible, and your business operations will continue as if there were no DDoS attack. So you're pretty safe and totally protected. But if, for example, if you have a customer or you yourself are already under attack, there is also a possibility to enable the protection during the attack. So that's also been done to to protect you. And also there were questions about recovery after DDoS attack. So sometimes it's very hard to recover after DDoS attack because it can damage the infrastructure, it can damage the data. So it's very important that's why it's very important to keep the protection enabled anytime to keep safe against DDoS attacks. And what else? So how to track and see what happens during the attack. So answering these questions, I can say that we provide this, Kirill already mentioned, the client portal where you can log in and you can see all everything that happens now at this very time, and also analytics statistics is there. Also, you can track all the attacks that happened in the past. Other things is that we also provide
And
an
then
API.
one thing you just highlighted that we are also working on the on-prem solution, which is expected in 2026. Maybe a lot of governments and a lot of institutes may require an on-prem solution. So I think you have highlighted that we may get a on-prem solution by 2026 also.
Yes,
Right?
yes. So currently we provide cloud-based protection, but early next year, in the beginning of next year, we are also releasing on-prem solution, which is already actually ready, and we are already using it in our own cloud scribing centers. But it will be available for sale in Q1 next year. So yes, actually you can We can already provide you a product demo on that
Great.
solution. So anyone who are interested, you can send your request and we will send you a product demo and showcase this solution for you as well.
Great. There is one question from Mr. Bhavani is, can we integrate with Fortinet firewall, FortiGate firewall?
Yeah, I can take that, Anton. We usually integrate, since we don't have our own sensor yet, we're actually, as with the situation with the on-prem solution, we are going to provide our own sensor as well in, I believe, the first or second quarter 2026. For now, we do help set up and configure with the already existing sensors, for example, or for example, in some of the cases where the customers already have some of the firewalls blended in. In that case, I'm not sure if we have already customers who are using FortiGate firewall, but as I mentioned before, we do not provide you some sort of third-party solution. It's our own solution. That means all the engineers that are working on that knows all the insides of it, know it, how it works out of the box, and are able to set up and configure. So if customer having some not, typical infrastructure or some of the solutions already integrated and they want to be implemented, not fully changed, we can work with that. I mean, we can, of course, in a contact with the customer themselves, they will explain the model, how they work, the infrastructure. Our network engineers will evaluate that, see all the and provide all the options that we can work with. It's and just basically give you the clear picture whether it's workable, whether it's doable or not with our system or not. If it is, we're going to help you to implement it, send you some instructions, help you to navigate it, and everything like that. So it's all the process of doing that together when you have some unusual things within the infrastructure.
Thank you, Kirill. Thank you. Thank you, Kirill. If the participants have any question, they can just raise the hand. Before I go to the next question, I just want to ask us, Kirill, when we have a DDoS attack which is happening in my network, does my business goes down, or you are actually parallelly stopping it and my business is still on, or my network actually goes down and the work is not, my business is not continued till the time the DDoS attack is completely nullified? How is that stage happening?
So if you're not connected to us, you get an attack and you come to us. Is that correct?
No. We are actually having your solution. We are having your solution on the website, and some DDoS attack is happening on my website. In that stage, what happens?
Got it. Nothing happens for you or for your customers if you are connected to L7 protection and the filtering mechanisms are correct, because as I said, we do provide a managed service, so the customers are able to set up any sort of settings that they need and feel like it. So it's better for the technical person to interact with that only. That's why we have a multi-tenant model, so that the salesperson or finance person do not interfere with that. If the protection is enabled, everything is working, and the attack is started, you just get a notification, so you can go ahead and see what's happening. But there's no particular downtime for your business. It's just completely fine under attack. L7 protection that we have. Websites work perfectly fine. No issues whatsoever. Payment working fine. There's no latency for the customers. So no, it doesn't affect business in any way when you are connected to StormWall and have an L7 protection.
Great. Thank you, Kirill, for that answer. I think Baswaraj had one question where are cloud server located? So I think there was a slide which you had shown, but you can just highlight for this question.
Sure. I can even quick. Oh, look at this. I almost got it from the first try. This is the filtering networks. This is the cloud that we have. So we have multiple points of presence with our own hardware in each of those locations. I'm talking Equinix in Germany, Equinix in Hong Kong, and Indonesia and Singapore. So all of those are our equipment, and that makes our own global filtering network and the StormWall cloud itself. So those are all the points that we have scrubbing centers at, where we filter the traffic, where we can connect the customers to, and basically where we operate from.
Yeah,
What is
Great.
the
I think,
let's
yeah.
Yeah, Anton.
Sorry, Kirill and Rajiv. I think we need to mention that Rajiv with BD software with Bitdefender, we are planning to deploy a local point of presence in India as well. So that is why we can soon be able to provide protection from our POP in India. Right, Rajiv?
Perfect, Anton. So we are working on that. We are working on our data center, and we will very soon have a hop in India also that you can see in this global filtering network. We will have a India map also very soon. There is,
great.
Kirill, one more question is on the
Yeah.
licensing model. What is the minimum bandwidth commitment,
Yeah, the
or how is the
bandwidth
licensing?
commitment when we talk in network protection starts from 200 megabits. Website protection, 50 megabits. And the steps are like 100, 200, 300, and so on. And we charge only for, it's a bandwidth based, so the clean traffic. So let's say you have the network and you have 1 gigabit of commitment, and you purchase 1 gigabit of commitment, you pay only for that 1 gigabit. So we do not charge you for the traffic based, traffic, the clean, the dirty one. It's just the clean traffic that you deliver. And yeah, it works as a subscription model. So we have a basic 1 year contract with some other benefits, uh, with the monthly payment, quarter, 6 months, 12 months. And as for the provide trial support, the thing I've mentioned at the end here, you can get a trial, the 30-day trial. We do provide support. Again, we are not just providing a set of tools, it's a fully managed service. So when you get a 30-day trial with StormWall, you are not getting just like a demo version of the protection. You will get the full version of it with the full support team, with the full solution capabilities, with everything else. It's just as if you were purchasing the solution, but you're not. You're just having the solution for free for 30 days. Of course, there are some limits, but those limits are mostly referred to the amount of traffic you're using and stuff like that, the stuff that we are paying for the providers, for example. So we have to put some limits on it, but in case of the capabilities of the solution, the support that we're going to provide you, it's the same as it will be when you are purchasing the service. So it's going to be completely 100%.
Great, Kirill. I think this question we have partly answered that we are planning a hop in India. But the question from Bhavani was if there are no scrubbing center in India, then hop activated in India. Is this question, can you answer that? That no scrubbing center in India, hence latency will increase during attack. Do you want to answer
Yeah,
this?
sure. Latency will, it depends on, for example, if we are connected with a GRE tunnel, let's say from India to, I don't know, Singapore or Hong Kong, if the latency is okay already, uh, it will not increase during the attack. But what some of the customers do, for example, if you are connected from India to Singapore, you choosing the option to have the protection on demand. So you're not sending us the traffic at all times. You do that only during the attack. And yes, since during the attack, the traffic is start to reroute through us, meaning they go to Singapore and only then back to India. Yeah, it's gonna get some additional latency to it, some milliseconds. It's gonna be for some customers it might be not that relevant, but some it might be relevant. But of course, especially when we're talking some gaming services, but it's still far better than just to have complete shutdown on the services or the infrastructure than just to bear with some latency issues for some minutes. So that is one way to deal with that. But again, we need to check the exact latency with each particular customer, but because sometimes the latency is okay even if you do the traffic in an always on mode. It's just depends on rerouting, the upstream providers, and everything else.
Thank you. Thank you, Kirill. There's one more question is how it identifies malicious and legitimate traffic in WAF. Does it uses AI?
Yeah, so when it comes to WAF, we separate web application firewall and anti-DDoS. When we come to anti-DDoS, it has basically a lot of thresholds and filter mechanisms. We do have the sensor. mm, how would I explain that in a simple way? So basically, we monitor the traffic on the L7 when it comes to proxy, and we do have some thresholds, like what's the average pattern of that website or of that domain.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're very much audible.
Yeah, yeah. I think Kirill is not audible, right?
Yes, I believe it's a network glitch उनके यहाँ पे.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So,
hello guys. I'm back. I'm back. That's okay. It's
yeah,
just
sorry. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Go
So
on, go on.
sorry about that. Yeah. So what I was talking that so on the web application firewall we have a lot of thresholds and AI helps us to do some sort of a pattern tracking, for example, to block the activity if we see that this is not a usual traffic for the particular subdomain or domain or just for the website itself. And within the web application firewall, it's much more complex thing than just anti-DDoS because it works with the requests, with all the parsing, SQL injections, and all of that. And yes, AI is also involved in that. Not keen on a lot of details on how exactly AI is now helping to identify web application firewall. It's a question for the pre-sale team of our, and that is the question that you can easily ask during the trial, and our team will be happy to provide all the necessary technical details, of course, as much to the as NDA approved. Yeah.
Thank you, Kirill. Thank you, participants, for all your questions. If you have still any question, please feel free to put it in chat. Rest, as far as the session is there, I think it was a great session. And thank you, Kirill. Thank you, Anton, for your input. We are still there for another 5 minutes. But if you don't have any question, please feel free to leave. And if you have any question, please put it in chat. We will surely answer it, or else we will share you an email for this. Thank you very much again, participants, and thank you all for joining in from various parts of India, and I think some are from Nepal also. So thank you, Kirill, for once again for your great session and insights, and thank you, Anton, for this inputs and organizing this webinar. Thank you, Atanu, for coordinating the entire session. If there is anything else, please ask. We are there for another 5 minutes. The session is now complete. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. It
Thank
was
you,
my
Krill.
pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe, stay online, and have a great the rest of the day.
Wishing the
Thank you,
same here.
Kiran.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maxim.